director of competition, Brian Medeiros, says over the one-way radios, lights are out, prepare for green. Oreste Gonnella, Chris Compton on the front row, MPJ, Michael Paul Jr., Chris Sieweke, row number 2, Joel Myers, Nick DeCarlo, row 3. Dirt Modified A main event. Sieweke taps the front stretch wall. Oreste Gonnella, your early leader. Oh, 3 wide off of turn 2. Nick DeCarlo in between Sieweke and Michael Paul Sr. DeCarlo has the spot. Goes past Michael Paul Sr. up around the outside. Oreste Gonnella, Michael Paul Jr. Joel Myers up to 3rd. Chris Compton 4th. Nick DeCarlo now past Compton up into 4th. Your leaders Gonnella, Michael Paul Jr., Joel Myers, Nick DeCarlo, Chris Compton, Michael Paul Sr., Chris Sieweke, Norman Boeck, Nick Viscusi, Ron Dickerson into the front stretch wall. Michael Paul Jr. running down Oreste Gonnella in the front. Likewise for DeCarlo and Joel Myers for 3rd and 4th. Oreste Gonnella, your leader. Michael Paul Jr. Here's Nick DeCarlo to the inside of the 46. Joel Myers, DeCarlo underneath Myers for position. DeCarlo up into 3rd. Gonnella's your leader still. Coming up on 5 laps down, 20 to go off the bottom. Michael Paul looking for some traction. Can't find it. The Victory Chevrolet 23 of Oreste Gonnella is strong on the lead. Michael Paul Jr. trying to cut into that lead. Instead, Nick DeCarlo's cutting into the 2nd place margin. DeCarlo up on the rear deck lid of Michael Paul Jr. Your top 3 into turns 1 and 2 has won. Oreste Gonnella down the backside has a 3 or 4 car length. Yellow, yellow, yellow. That's Nick Viscusi. 6 laps are in. Nick Viscusi over there in turn number 2. Turned the wrong way. Chooses the bottom for the restart. Very, very interesting decision. See if Michael Paul Jr. can take advantage in the 50. Gonnella knew what he was doing the whole time. He takes the lead. Nick DeCarlo takes a look underneath. Here's Michael Paul Jr. up on the outside. Michael Paul Jr. Oreste Gonnella heading through turns 3 and 4. Side by side of the line, your leaders, Michael Paul Jr. Off of turn 2, MPJ hits the front. There goes the 5-time track champion, Michael Paul Jr. to the lead. He hasn't led a main event in a long time here at Petaluma. Nick DeCarlo, he fighting a tight situation in the number 17. This might be DeCarlo's, or not DeCarlo, might be Michael Paul Jr.'s night. Michael Paul leads with 8 laps down, caught up on 9. The mystery driver spins out in the 68. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. And just at the wrong time for Nick DeCarlo. He had just passed Oreste Gonnella. Is going to have to go back 1 spot. Michael Paul Jr., Oreste Gonnella will be on the front row. Myers knows his way around Petaluma. Multiple main event wins in the number 46. This one's shaping up to be a good one. Off of turn number 4. 17 laps still to go. Michael Paul Jr. gets through turn 2, but now it's nearly 3 wide down the backside. DeCarlo is up to the rear end of Michael Paul Jr. At the same time, he's outside of Oreste Gonnella. Nick DeCarlo past Gonnella. DeCarlo looking underneath Michael Paul down the backside. Here's Nick DeCarlo in a big hurry in the DC Solar 17. Off of turn number 4, DeCarlo can't clear him. 10 laps down, 15 to go. Lights are back out. 8 laps to go for quick Nick DeCarlo out of Martinez. Here we go. Gonnella takes a look underneath the 50 of Michael Paul Jr. Can't get past him. Battle for the 4th and 5th spot between Sieweke and Joel Myers. 18 laps are down. DeCarlo slips up a little bit. Here comes Michael Paul Jr. Michael Paul goes to the bottom, but DeCarlo's got a lot of momentum coming off of turn 4. 6 to run. Michael Paul Jr. hounding Nick DeCarlo now. DeCarlo got a great run off of 2 and opened up about another 4 or 5 car lengths. Laps are down, 5 to go. Michael Paul Jr. going to try to take advantage. 20 laps down, 5 to run. DeCarlo gets through 1 and 2 flawlessly and opens up about 3 or 4 car lengths on Michael Paul Jr. Paul takes a look underneath DeCarlo off of turn 4. All of a sudden, Paul's pretty quick through 3 and 4. DeCarlo running the top side with 21 laps down, 4 to go. On lap 22, Nick DeCarlo just turned his fastest lap of the main event at a 16.4. DeCarlo getting faster as the night rolls on. 2 laps to go. White flag in the air for Nick DeCarlo. Michael Paul Jr. second. Battle between Sieweke and Gonnella for that 3rd spot. Dickerson to the infield, not gonna matter. Checkered flag is out. Quick Nick DeCarlo wins. Michael Paul Jr. second. Oreste Gonnella, Chris Sieweke, Norman Boeck, Nick Viscusi, Joel Myers, and Chris Compton. Nick DeCarlo got it done from 6th spot, led the last about 11 laps or so, and was masterful on the front end once he got there. Michael Paul Jr. could close the gap a little bit, but once the momentum picked back up and got together and got back up to speed, didn't have anything for Nick DeCarlo. 17:50, 23:74, and 21, your top 5.